And good morning, Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio from Compass Public Charter School here in Meridian, Idaho. Hope you're having a great day. We're joined by several students. And coming up, of course, we've got a lot of news to talk about. We've got Nancy Pelosi accusing the Attorney General of committing a crime. Quote, he lied to Congress. We'll get your thoughts about that. A new CNN poll having the president up by 43%. And whether or not, Robert Mueller will testify before Congress. But before that, we've got some students here from Compass Public Charter School. Ma'am, we'll start with you if you'd introduce yourself to the listening public. And good morning.
Hi, I'm Natasha.
Okay, Natasha, I can't hear anything on my headphones. So, Natasha, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm a sophomore at Compass, and I've been attending this school since third grade.
Since third grade, all right. And you, ma'am?
My name's Vaughn Hoffman, and I joined this school in 8th grade, so I've been here since that, and I'm a sophomore now.
All right, fair enough. And you, young lady?
I'm Isabella Jordan. I'm a sophomore also, and I have been here since third grade.
All right. Well, tell us a little bit about your experiences here.
I really do like this school. It really prepares you for college pretty well, and the education here is unmatched in any other school you can find.
Boy, that's a strong statement before 6:30 in the morning. Do you agree with that?
I totally do, and it also helps give the students what they want and fulfill their interests.
Get their students what they want? What do you mean you get the students what they want?
Well, if a student desires to have something like a club, like we join the Envirothon, the faculty will always listen to what our interests are and will help provide for what we want.
Oh, boy. At least one of us is speaking in complete sentences. And that would be you. Thank you very much. Ma'am, what about you? And, again, you've been here since third grade.
Yeah, I love this school. It's a great opportunity to come to Compass, and you do learn a lot. It really helps prepare you for college and just life after high school, so it's a great school.
All right, we're going to stick with you then here at KIDO Talk Radio, 107.5 FM, 580 AM. I'm sure you get this all the time. It's never too soon to be stressed out about your future. I mean, that's really what being an adult is. It's finding reasons to be stressed out. So tell us a little bit about your post-Compass plans.
After Compass, I plan to go to college. I'm not really sure what college I plan to go to yet, but I'm in the process of deciding what classes I'm going to take for next year to prepare me for college.
All right, we'll get back to you in a minute, ma'am.
I'm planning on also going to college. Not sure where yet, but I want to go into the medical field. And Compass has also helped just give me the direction I need to take with different classes that will help prepare me for college.
All right. And you, young lady?
I also plan to attend college. I'm not sure where yet either, but I also want to study pre-med. And I feel that Compass has really opened up all those options for me and allowed me to explore whatever field I want to go into.
Well, I'm glad we're getting into pre-med here because you're going to have to take care of a lot of us old people. What about fun? Let's talk a little bit about the fun. We'll stick with you, and then we'll continue to go round robin, and we're going from right to left, left to right for those of you keeping score at home. So integrating fun and education, is that really possible?
Yes, and I think it definitely comes in with the teachers. I think that it's more of the teachers that implement that fun element, and I think that here at Compass, the close relationship, because we are such a small school, with the teachers and the students really allows the classroom to be a lot more fun.
Fun and education, I don't know about that. What about you?
I definitely agree that the teachers are a major part about why the school is so great.
You like your teachers?
Yes, they're very invested into the
You
students.
must be doing something wrong then, right?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Ma'am?
Yeah, I also agree that fun definitely has to go with the teachers as well as the classmates. I have a lot of classes with my friends, and so we're always laughing in class, but we still manage to get our work done. And the teachers are always really great about allowing us to learn responsibly while still having fun in the class.
Sure, of course you have a lot of discussions. What's your favorite class?
My favorite class is definitely Spanish.
Really? Wow,
Yes.
pretty strong.
Yes.
And we'll continue on your favorite class?
I also really enjoy Spanish just because of the teacher, and then any science class I can get my hands on.
Wow. Ma'am?
I would say my favorite class is history because the way it's taught just really clicks with me, and so it's a lot of fun.
Finally, anything else that you would like to share with people listening? We're talking about your clubs and stuff, so we'll start with you. Favorite club?
Definitely the Envirothon that was just started this year.
What's that? What?
The Envirothon. So it's each state has their own little competition and club that people in school prepare for, and then they go as a team and they work together there to just take tests and have presentations.
Wait a minute, it's fun to take tests?
It really is, yeah.
If you say so.
I would have to agree with her on the Envirothon because it was such a team
Now, wait a minute.
building.
You are all of you are in the environment. Well,
Yeah.
yes, of course. You're here so early in the morning. You've got your instructor watching you. Of course, that's going to be the favorite class. I'm not that slow. They didn't have to laugh that quickly. But anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
The Envirothon was a really great team building activity, and I was really able to get closer with a lot of my classmates. And it was definitely something I would do in the future.
Fair enough here. Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. Is this going to be Three's a Charm?
Yes, I love the Envirothon. It was a
I
lot
ask
of
a
fun.
lot of tough questions here. So, finally, anything you would like to say to people listening as far as your thoughts on the future? This is your chance that you have all the parents, all the grandparents, people like Kevin Miller and old Phil over there, to tell us, give us some knowledge. I know it's tough, but you're a lot more awake than I am this morning. So we're counting on you guys for some content. Please go ahead.
I think that if students ever have the chance to participate in the Envirothon, they definitely should take that opportunity.
Oh, my goodness. Back to the Envirothon?
Yes.
All right.
It was a great learning opportunity, and it was a lot of fun.
Sure.
And I think that students should definitely participate in it if they can.
Right. All right. See, I was hoping, look, parents, grandparents, you need to listen to the kids because that's how things are. But anyway.
Well, that too, but.
Oh, that too. All right. Ma'am, what about you?
I just think Compass is a great school, and it is small, but
Right.
it really offers a lot for everybody here.
Fair enough.
I think that if there's one lesson that I could take away from being at Compass is learning how to be a lifelong learner and always striving to learn more and gain more knowledge about all subjects.
Well, we should just stop the show right now. Thank you, ladies, for coming in so early. Appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Kevin Miller in the morning here, KIDO Talk Radio. Phone numbers, you guys can leave. We're not holding you hostage, so thank you. Or you can just sit around this wonderful table and look at the coffee stains. It's very exciting. Kevin Miller in the morning here, KIDO Talk Radio. Big news going on concerning the citizenship question. Let's get the latest from our own Madeline Rivera here on KIDO Talk Radio.
The Trump administration wants a citizenship question added. Many critics say that would deter several people from filling out the form due to fear. The undercount could cause states like California and Texas to lose congressional seats, diluting their voices in the federal government. Nearly 11% of the population in the Lone Star State are non-citizens. University of Houston downtown professor David Branham says, meanwhile, states like Montana or Minnesota could benefit.
Those states will actually have more power in the presidential election. They'll have more representation in Congress, and they'll be more powerful overall in the federal government, in the federal policy-making process.
The Supreme Court is expected to make a ruling at the end of June. In Houston, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
And Kevin Miller in the morning here, KIDO Talk Radio. Going back to that citizenship question, why don't we move that over somewhere else because we're picking that up on my mic here. When we're talking about the citizenship question at 580-5436, 580-KIDO, the Supreme Court will decide. We'll take a look at that. Also, getting back to the situation involving Nancy Pelosi and whether or not the Attorney General broke the law. We're going to take your calls on that at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Coming up, we're going to have a young man talk a little bit about Joe Biden and just his thoughts here as we move along, and Joe Biden making the big call, and whether or not people here in Idaho or throughout the country are in fact down with old Joe, and whether or not Joe Biden would be your pick for 2020. Many people are going after Joe. Of course, that's what we love. Anytime we can make politics more like sports or sports more like politics, it is a fun time here at the Kevin Miller Show on 107.5 FM, 580 AM, KIDO Talk Radio. If you missed any of the shenanigans yesterday, I was just riveted listening to Sean Hannity going back and forth on this about the Mueller report. And I don't know about you, and I'm going to admit something. It's I don't want to call it a guilty pleasure, but I was watching Aaron Burnett last night on CNN, and Aaron Burnett they had two people on, and it wasn't a ask a question, let somebody answer like we do, but she was just assuming that Barr misled, a lot of assumptions. And we all know what happens when you assume, and she was cutting off this guy that was a pro-Barr guy to go to the pro-Mueller guy, all about writing a letter and misleading the public. And the gentleman who worked for Bob Barr said this. He goes, why would Bob Barr write a misleading memo when he knowingly was going to release the Mueller report as much as he could in a few weeks? And then you had the journalists going, well, he should have released it. He should have done this. He should have done that. And I'm thinking, well, no, there's a procedure here. And actually, the Attorney General rushed through the Mueller report to get it out. It never seems to satisfy the media. And I thought, if you don't look and listen to CNN and others, and Fox News with a critical eye, you're really missing out. Because it wasn't, people say sometimes, well, Kevin Miller, people, all they do is talk, and you just go, Oh, that's my dad. But anyway, the issue here is that she wouldn't let him finish, and it wasn't question and answer. It was basically her opinion, speculative opinion, unsubstantiated facts, making it up. And I thought that was something that really, really, did a disservice to the Republic. So coming up at 580-5436, 580-KIDO, we're going to get your thoughts on that. We're going to hear from more of the students, teachers, and everybody else here at Compass Public Charter School, promoting our school, securing our future. Thanks to our friends at CapEd Credit Union and Team Mazda Subaru. You're listening to Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Blessed to be with you, Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. Our top story, the Speaker of the House accusing the Attorney General of committing a crime, quote, he lied to Congress. And if you missed the Miller Minute yesterday, that's essentially what we were talking about. And, kind of jokingly saying, is Nancy Pelosi a hugger? Think about that. Is she a hugger? Would you like a hug from Nancy Pelosi? Maybe. In other news, social media, you've got Facebook banning dangerous individuals, Alex Jones, Mio, blah, 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 and Louis Farrakhan. And again, President Trump up in a new CNN poll by up to 43%. Yesterday, the sights and sounds of the reaction to the Mueller report and the Barr testimony on KIDO Talk Radio.
I would say it's done. We've been through this. Nobody has ever done what I've done. I've given total transparency. It's never happened before like this. They shouldn't be looking anymore. This is all. It's done. Even my finances, it must have been looked at for $35 million. I assume they looked at my taxes. I assume that Mueller looked at my financial statements. I assume that for the $35 million, they've gone through everything. My taxes, my financial statements, which are phenomenal, they've gone through everything. And I'm so clean. Think of it. After 2.5 years and all of that money spent, nothing. Very few people could have sustained that. I think nobody's done more about Russia than I have. President Obama in September, before the November election, my November election, if you look, he was told by the FBI and others about Russia. He did nothing about it.
All right, with us now for analysis, Gary Goldman, political analyst, talk show host in Boston, Massachusetts, with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Gary, do you agree with the president?
I do agree with the president. Look at this witch hunt that is continually going on has to stop. The president from my opinion, he's been as transparent as any president could possibly be. He's done everything they've asked him to do, and the Democrats are just not happy with him. They're not happy. This is going to continue. This is a ploy that's going to continue, this whole Russia collusion thing, until the election. I mean, they think it's going to be a distraction for the president. I think it's going to help him in the long run.
Indeed, but there's a lot of vitriol, a lot of passion on the other side. I was sharing with the audience, Gary, before you came on, you got Aaron Burnett screaming literally at the person saying Bob Barr did nothing wrong, Robert Mueller shouldn't have sent a letter. They're just so emotionally invested in that. Is that good for the country?
No, I don't think any of this is good for the country. I think, maybe it was wishful thinking. I was hoping that once the report came out, at least both sides would say, okay, here's the conclusion and let's move forward. Obviously, that's not going to happen. And psychologically, this is horrible for the country. No matter how good the economy is doing, and we're doing good in so many different areas, this will drain on the country in a number of different ways. Mentally, it could drain to businesses and just the tone of the country. It's just not a good thing right now. And I think somehow we have to put this thing to bed. I don't think it's going to go to bed, but somehow if someone could figure a way to just end this and move on, it would be the best thing for everybody.
Well, certainly it would be, but it doesn't seem like it's going to happen.
No.
What do you make of Nancy Pelosi saying the Attorney General broke a law? That's a huge allegation to make.
It's a huge allegation to make. I mean, I think them asking him to step down or resign is no different than what they were trying to say President Trump was doing when he threatened to get rid of the special prosecutor. To me, that you could look at that as obstruction. Look at Nancy Pelosi throws that out there. She's trying to appeal to a Democratic Party who's splintered, they are all over the place, and she's going to say what she has to do to sort of maintain her power and control. But that is quite the allegation to make. I don't think this AG has done anything wrong. I think they're just very nervous as to what is coming up the road for them.
What do you make of that as far as coming up the road?
Well, I think you're going to see the AG is doing a lot of investigations, and I think you're going to see some people falling on the side that perpetrated this whole false narrative, this whole Russian collusion investigation. And I think Mueller, at some point when I see the little letter that slipped out the other day, and he's well calculated. I think I personally still think he's part of this ongoing drama, and I think he's glad that it's continuing on. But I think the Democrats know there's some people that are going to pay a price for what they did. You can't have a false narrative being thrown out there and almost create, to some degree, people will say we did have a soft coup going on in the United States. Look, at Democrat or Republican, someone has to be held accountable for that behavior. That just can't go on in America.
Well, it seems like they're going to try and run out the clock. Phone numbers here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Gary Goldman joining us. Gary, hang on for a minute. Let's get you to traffic and weather. KIDO Talk Radio, 107.5 FM, 580 AM. Good morning, Dave. All right, Gary, let's get back to it. You're in New England. You get to see all these guys. What do you make of Joe Biden?
Well, I think Joe Biden, while he's out there on the campaign trail now and nobody's pulling at him, the other candidates, I think he'll be somewhat okay. Once he has to start addressing where he really stands, because look at those on the left, far left, the progressives are not going to allow him to get away with just walking through this campaign without addressing some of their issues. And I think he'll be up for a challenge there. And should he be the candidate that faces President Trump, I think it will be a quick victory for the president. I don't think President Joe Biden, Vice President Biden, could beat the president. But look, he's been able to evade a lot of the tough questions. There's a lot of progressives on the left that have a lot of socialistic ideas that they want to move through, and they're not going to let Joe sort of jump around them. So at some point he has to address those.
Indeed. Let's continue on here at KIDO Talk Radio. Who impresses you out of the Democratic field so far?
In all honesty, none of them. And I'm being, look at. There's nobody that has said anything that would appeal to me. And I have friends that are, here in Massachusetts, a lot of very good liberal friends who have said to me, look, I've been Democrat all my life, but these guys have gone gals have gone way far to the left, and it's hard for me to embrace anybody. Now, will they embrace somebody? They may, but I'm not impressed with anybody as of yet. I'm going to look at the guy that I'm concerned about is Bernie Sanders, because in Massachusetts, especially with all the colleges here, they love him. The American people have come to love free giveaways. It's a game show every day. What is the government going to give out? And the kids in the colleges love him. But I think if I was going to throw somebody down to a bet right now on who is going to be the nominee, I'm thinking it's going to be Bernie Sanders at this point. I really believe that even though he doesn't fit the stereotype, he's the old white male, I think he would be the guy that they would put up right now, but only time will tell.
All right now, so May 3rd, you're predicting Crazy Bernie.
I'm predicting Crazy Bernie, and I look at, he felt this race was stolen from him. in 2016, and he may be right about that. And I think they're also concerned because he's got a very strong base, and his people are saying this time around we're not going to go with whoever. If it's not Bernie, we're not going to give our support to the party. That has to be concerning. So if I was looking at it this stage without anyone else coming in there, I'm going out on the limb and saying I think Bernie's going to be the guy.
Gary, we appreciate you. Thank you very much. If people want more information, what can they do?
They can find me at GaryOnBPL.com.
All right, Gary, you stay out of trouble.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Those folks in New England, I don't know what you'd say there. It takes a while for them to warm up, but we sure appreciate Gary joining us here. Phone number is 580-5436, 580-KIDO. We are at Compass Public Charter School, promoting our schools, securing our future, thanks to our friends at CapEd Credit Union. More coming up next on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie. And before we get to Hank in Boise on KIDO Talk Radio, we're joined by Jessica Hill of the K-5 campus. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah, well, are you sure?
It's earlier than I usually show up to school, but it's good.
Well, we appreciate your dedication promoting education, if you will. Share with us your experience of being a teacher at Compass. Why does it mean so much to you?
Well, I got to start working at Compass when it opened in 2005. That was my first year teaching, so I was just a baby teacher. I taught first grade there for 10 years and then sixth grade for a couple of years, and now I'm in kindergarten. It's my second year of kindergarten. I just really enjoy the family feel and the smaller school. I really like how we're dedicated to our culture and not only educating with rigor, but also just building up individuals and helping them through their K-12 experience develop things like a worldview and being able to defend what they believe in and support claims that they have with evidence that they can find at that stage in their life.
And you do that in kindergarten?
Well, in kindergarten, we start supporting the claims that the author writes. So one of our questions is, how does the author support the claim, and whatever the topic sentence is, and then we practice finding that through the author's paragraph.
You're doing that topic sentences in kindergarten?
Yeah, it's fun. And then when we write, we come up with a class topic sentence, and then they have to fill in the details.
Wait a minute, you're writing in kindergarten?
Yeah, I told you, rigor. We're kind of about rigor.
I was going to say, I thought it was just like A, B, C. No.
No. We start there. We do practice that multiple times because, well, you have to know your ABCs. But then we kind of build on that foundation and just help them to hopefully think deeper.
As an educator, what do you say to parents that are always looking for that favorite secret sauce, if you will, to get their kids invested in school and to understand the return on investment? What do you say in general to parents?
Well, it starts at home, and you have to put in capital, if you will, to that investment. So, I mean, the teachers definitely are invested, and we're doing what we think is best all day, but when it comes down to it, the most growth from your input and from your investment comes from home, and it really goes down to attitude and the time and effort that you put into it as well.
So really doing your homework with the child. What else?
At Compass, we say it's a three-legged stool. So one of the legs is the student, obviously. They have to do something to learn. And another leg is the teacher. And then the parent supports that third leg, and without it, the stool will fall over. And so homework is definitely a key to that. And it starts in kindergarten where it's much more hands-on, and we're reading and sounding out words and working on math facts. And as they get older, it becomes more hands-off, but still support. So I also have a couple kids at Compass, and my fifth grader and my third grader know that it's their job to do their homework, but I'm still present, and anytime they have a question, then they come to me and we work it through. And so then as a parent, your job is to be the support, help them with their organization, check their work, which is kind of the toughest part, because sometimes you feel like they get a lot of stuff coming home and you're not sure what to check on. But
sure.
Just making sure that they're on track and looking at the important things and saying, hey, I noticed you're struggling with this. How can I help you with that?
Right. Anything else you'd like to share with us?
Not really. I love where I work, and hopefully I get to stay there for a long time.
I share that sentiment. You never know. But thank you. And any keys to holding the attention of how many kindergartners do you have?
I get them 24 at a time. I get to teach twice. Song and dance.
You're a song and dance gal?
Well, we all do it together. But
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough. There you have it, folks. Song and dance to hold their attention. One more follow-up on that. How do you incorporate the digital element into teaching, or do you?
Yeah, we strive at Compass at all levels to incorporate that. I mean, and some of it is pretty surface level. I mean, I teach from PowerPoints, and I use my projector, and then we also use iPads. Right now we're using a state software called iStation, so the kids get their hands on that. And then any other time we try to kind of augment our teaching with any digital tools. We each have a class set of iPads per grade level, so we kind of are constantly looking at those ways to augment but still keep it pretty rigorous. So that's the trick.
Well, thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
Jessica Hill. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Let's go to Hank in Boise with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Hank.
Good morning. Joe Biden is the current top runner for the front runner for the Democratic Party, and of course the news media is going to do all they can to protect him and promote him. But there's a question that's going to be faced sooner or later, because if nothing else, one of his Democratic opponents will try to knock him off of his front stage. He is arguably the most corrupt politician in terms of American politics, in the amount of money he's taken in bribes, basically funneled through his son Hunter. If you could follow Secret Empires by Peter Schweitzer, who's a fairly careful scholar and also exposed Hillary's dealings in the uranium deal, he's taken well over $1 billion. That's a record for corruption among American politics. I don't know any other politician that's taken that much money from Ukrainian and Chinese sources. And there's also the fact that he got the Ukrainian prosecutor who was trying to convict Hunter for his let's say racketeering ways. He managed to pull strings to get him fired by the Ukrainian government. And and Sean Hannity brought that out in his program yesterday. And of course, the collusion that took place with the Ukrainians, the stuff on Paul Manafort, I think came from those same sources. Democrat work was trying to get dirt on Trump, and when Manafort was chairman, and that was where the information came about Manafort's Ukrainian deals, was again, you're talking about real collusion, and there's real collusion with Biden and all this, and I don't see where the news media, if one of the Democrat opponents suppose it, they're going to be forced to cover it whether they like it or not. They can ignore Republicans or ignore it and dismiss it as the typical right-wing charge, which I can very easily see them saying. But if it comes out with another Democratic liberal opponent, that's going to be hard for them to evade it.
Well, I don't know if people caught Sean Hannity's show last night where you had who was he talking to, where they found somebody from the DNC went to the Ukrainian officials in the Ukraine and asked them for dirt on President Trump, went to the Ukrainian president. This is during the campaign. The Ukrainian president declined to give them anything. But this is huge what Sean Hannity broke last night.
Yes, the reporter, I can't think of his name at the moment. He was one of the 3 reporters that John always brings on his show. He's got the emails. He's got the evidence of what took place there. And I think, again, the trail on some of this stuff is going to eventually lead to Biden himself on some of this stuff. And I think that that touchy-feely Joe is got a problem with huge corruption. I mean, this guy this is corruption beyond incredible measure. And if you read the Peter Schweitzer book, he's fairly researched on that in terms of Biden's corruption. This is a scale that I don't think we've ever seen before in American politics in terms of take or graft. as this particular politician. He is the king or the champion of the corrupt politicians. That's Joe Biden, touchy-feely himself.
Ha! Well, Hank, thank you for the call.
Well, thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Kevin Mill in the morning here at Compass Public Charter School. Phone numbers 580-5436, 580-KIDO. As we said, you now have the Speaker of the House accusing the Attorney General of committing a crime.
How sad it is for us to see the top law enforcement officer in our country misrepresenting, withholding the truth from the Congress of the United States. How sad it is for us to see the top law enforcement.
Well, there we have it. We don't want to repeat that, but you know, that's a huge charge to make. And let's face it, whether you're a journalist, whether you're a lawmaker, whether you're in law enforcement, whether you're a parent, whether you're somebody at work, you don't make speculative accusations, unsubstantiated allegations. You'd expect that from entertainers, people on social media, and a lot of people love social media. I just bought a couple books that I haven't read, which is usual, much to Mrs. Miller's chagrin. One is called Like War, and it's an academic study of how these people called influencers, whether people in Hollywood or the Russians, have used social media to really shape public opinion. And the other one would be concerning the issue of how to get followers. And this currency is just undermining things, and we see what social media is doing to people that are, you know, usually average and ordinary. Everybody's, you know, having that viral sound clip. Joining us now from Fox News Radio with analysis is Rachel Sutherland. Rachel, good to have you with us, and we won't ask you how many followers you have. Good morning.
Oh, well, I did have 10,000 at one time, but I think all the bots got killed. So I'm around 9,000 right now.
Boy, it's funny, bots, sock puppets, call them what you will, but there's a lot of heat coming out of the Barr hearing, the no-show yesterday, and the Speaker of the House, as we've been saying, accusing him of breaking the law.
That's right. The House Speaker came out and said that the Attorney General William Barr lied to Congress, and she did ominously say, and that is a crime. She's referring to, a lot of people kind of were scratching their heads. She's referring to kind of some what she sees as discrepancies in testimony from Barr. First testimony was at a routine hearing. You'll remember that when he was asked about the Mueller report right after he released it, and I believe it was Chris that asked him if he had heard anything from the Mueller team about concerns about the summary that Barr had released. And at that time he said no, they didn't know of any kind of concerns about accuracy or anything like that. And then you can, if you have a split screen over on the other side, you have during the Senate Judiciary Committee, Patrick Leahy, the Democrat, asking him, because then we knew that Robert Mueller had sent a letter to William Barr, and there had been a subsequent phone call, and Mueller concerned that the summary report didn't capture the proper context of the entire body of work. So there was some kind of a dispute there. In fact, Barr called that letter snitty. So Pelosi saying that Barr essentially lied. I mean, people can go and look at the two videos and the transcript side by side and decide what they think about that. Certainly Barr was choosing his words carefully when he was answering Senator Leahy and saying that Chris did not ask him about Robert Mueller in particular, but the Mueller team.
Right. We go back to the game, and I don't know, Rachel, if you remember this, whether they used to call it the gotcha game, the gotcha question. It just seems like gotcha, gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah, well, that certainly could be almost, perceived as gotcha. At the same time, and this is the reason why oftentimes you see people not wanting to go before congressional committees. If you're under oath, it's a big deal. And some people view it as entrapment. Others are trying to say, well, this is holding someone accountable. And I don't know where it really goes from here. I mean, certainly issuing what is basically a threat and saying it's a crime, I don't know where Congress goes from this. There's been talk about trying to impeach William Barr, but that would definitely run into the same problems as trying to impeach the president because the Senate isn't going to go for it. So I don't know, it might be more just political theater. And talk about political theater with that rubber chicken in front of William Barr's spot yesterday where he was supposed to testify before the House Judiciary Committee, and one of the lawmakers walking around eating out of a bucket of fried chicken. It was definitely a splash, but Barr didn't want to attend because Democrats on the committee were going to have staff lawyers asking questions rather than just the committee members themselves.
Well, the drama continues, and you're right in the heart of it, Rachel. We appreciate it. Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks, Kevin.
Rachel Sutherland joining us, Fox News Radio, exclusively here in the Treasure Valley. KIDO Talk Radio, 107.5 FM, 580 AM. We are here at Compass Public Charter School, promoting our schools, securing our future, thanks to CapEd Credit Union and Team Mazda Subaru. Coming up next, the idea that the Attorney General broke the law. We'll get your thoughts about that. And a new law in Washington State could have middle school kids in car seats. We'll explain that to you next. You're listening to Kevin Miller on your home for Sean Hannity, KIDO Talk Radio. Blessed to be with you, Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. Let's go to Liberty Linda. Good morning, Liberty Linda.
Yes, good morning, Kevin. All the shows on KIDO are great. Glenn Beck, Sean Hannity, Lars Larson, just to name a few. And, of course, there's my favorite, you, Kevin Miller.
Thank you, Liberty.
Anyway,
I was worried.
Thank you for going into our schools. It just shows us what wonderful youth we have and some of their great envisions for themselves that they want to do. I just think it's wonderful to hear them and their actual talents in choir and music. So thank you so much for that, Kevin. But, importantly, our youth will hear what's going on in our government, and some will actually believe Nancy Pelosi and the others that are actually making a circus out of our Congress, I believe. I would like to see something more to what our founding fathers envisioned. Good debate over positive ideas for our country. Wouldn't you like to see that more so than what we're seeing in our government, Kevin?
I would agree.
It's just for us adults watching this, we're thinking, what in the world is going on? Where do these ideas? How do these people get elected in the first place? Is a question I ask myself. How do they get elected? So anyway, I don't think we are getting the true story in the Ukraine, though. There's a professor out of California that knows actually what's going on there. So I wish we could hear the real story of what's going on. And I thought Eric Trump was actually wonderful on Sean Hannity last night. Our president has a wonderful family around him that support him. And I just really like seeing that.
Well, Liberty Linda, we appreciate you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Kevin, and keep up all the good work you do.
Well, we're blessed to be part of your day. You have a great day now.
You as well. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Traffic and weather together, KIDO Talk Radio, 107.5 FM, 580 AM. Let's get you to work safely and on time. Good morning, Dave. And this just in, more at the top of the hour from Fox News. Jobs up, a 49-year low for unemployment, up over 263,000 new jobs in April. Wage hits an all-time high of 27.77 cents per hour, so $27 an hour. Let's go to Doug in Mountain Home. Doug, thanks for joining us on KIDO Talk Radio.
Hi, Kevin. Hey, on this Barr thing where they're talking about impeaching him, who has the power to get rid of him? Is it just Trump?
Well, he serves at the pleasure of the president, yes.
Yeah, that's what I figured. And I don't ever see him getting rid of him. I watched a little bit of that yesterday, just like what Liberty Linda was saying. Them circle of clowns that are in there, they're making a mockery. How can people vote for them? I guess, is that what all the people are like on the East Coast over there, Kevin? Are they all that freaking naive and stupid?
That's how I ended up here.
Really?
Yep.
So you was over there and you got enough of it?
I watched
they ran
me. I
a
was
little bit of it.
overrun by the libs.